And welcome to Off the Tee. My name is Chris Exusion. You can find me at Chris E. Baum on Twitter and at OTT Bets on Twitter on the Heat Ratio Network. Starting a little later. Tony Jigsaw Cotillo running a little late, but that's okay. He's the guy that runs the show. He's a good man. No worries at all. Everything's good on this end. The golf world's been fantastic. We just finished up the last major of the super season. Pretty wild for the most part. Collin Morikawa, what an absolute beast. A guy that just strikes the irons at will. The driver was accurate. The putter was nasty as well. And it was just a great showing by him. Once again, not being looked past once again, even by myself, who's honestly one of the biggest fans of Morikawa. It was more of that late narrative of the older player is going to play well here, you know. And I got a little caught up in it, unfortunately, and I left out my boy Morikawa. I did have Hovland as a pick that I liked as well, but he was more of a flyer from last year that I thought he had a chance of winning a major. He started off pretty good, fell off, and then he made a little run at the end, but unfortunately it didn't work out for him. As far as the rest of the tournament goes, winners, top 10s, if there was something I was correct about. Oh, and Adam, of course, checking in. What's up, Chris? Nothing too much, man. Just break it down, golf for the people, man. All good stuff. And later on today, actually, I just got my email for the Masters tickets. I don't know whether I got my tickets or not. I haven't been successful any of the other years. So this will be exciting. I'm going to do this live. So it'll be a lot of fun. So we got Dan checking in here. Yo, Chris, 2 majors out of 8 majors entered. Yep, absolutely. So let's get into this in general. So, the winners that I had, things that I pretty much got right. I was dead on with Louis, King Louis and Spieth. I thought they'd be in the top 10. And unfortunately, fortunately, they were contending. And on top of that, they stayed there. They're in the top 10. They didn't win. I thought they would get close, and they didn't at the end of the day. So this is what I really saw them doing. I didn't think they would actually close. A lot of people were all over them for the win. I wasn't one of them, and I was on the fade Bryson train big time. We had him miss the cut. He just made it by the line, so that was pretty crazy in general. But also, we cashed in on Matthew Fitzpatrick, minus 103 over Bryson DeChambeau. We were running away with it. It got a little close, but we pulled off the win. So that was important as well. So 3M Open. We're here. TPC Twin Cities, par 71, 7,441 yards, bent grass greens. Key stats here. Stroke gain approach off the tee, because this is a longer course, so you can bomb, and there's really not much trouble. There's a little bit of water trouble, but that's about it. GIRs are important, and birdie or better percentage is going to be important. There's going to be a lot of high scoring here, so you're going to see guys getting in the high teens and that kind of thing. So, this is going to be a birdie course, that's for sure. So, what it comes down to, pretty much how I'm evaluating this course. My man PGA tout John, these were some of the things that he was looking at when evaluating this course, and I totally agreed with him right here. And if you don't know PGA tout, he was on my show last week. Great write-ups as usual. So I highly recommend following him on Twitter and going on the PGAtout.com. So without further ado, guys, let's get into the bets over here. So leader after first round, my favorite bet. It's the lottery ticket, if you will. You sprinkle a little bit, like a quarter of a unit, maybe like 20th of a unit. But first guy right here, 90-1, Tom Lewis. And when I was trying to figure out who I really liked here for the most part, I put it into a data field, if you will. I wanted to start from the beginning of the 2020 year to present time right now. First rounds, courses that were similar to this: TPC River Highlands, Detroit Golf Club, and of course TPC Twin Cities. There's only been 2 years with TPC Twin Cities, so there isn't a whole lot of data with it. So I want to put these other courses with it as well. And when I went to Tom Lewis, that is, he ranks 4th in strokes gained total approach and 12th in the field in strokes gained putting in 4 rounds, which was the second highest of like the golfers in this competition. Some had 5, some have 4. A lot of them were below that. So there's a lot of data when it comes to this kind of specific kind of round play. And as the most recent first round play, he's posted in the positives in approach shots, ball striking, which is a combination of off the tee and approach shots. And he had a pretty hot putter during that time, during those first rounds. So you're going to need a hot putter in the first round if you're going to get through. So you're not going to be leader after first round. So that's what I'm looking at right there. My next guy, Maverick McNealy, 66-1. Same kind of deal, same kind of data formula I was using. He's been in 3 rounds of data. 5th in strokes gained total, 7th in strokes gained off the tee, 5th in strokes gained putting. His recent form, Rocket Mortgage and the Travelers, he posted great numbers in the first round based on his strokes gained stats, especially with the driver, ball striking, and putter. I feel really highly about him at this tournament in general. I feel like he fits this course very well. So I really like him to get a hot start, 66-1. And finally, another guy at 66-1, Chris Kirk. In 4 rounds, he's been 8th in strokes gained total. He's also ranked 6th in strokes gained total in first rounds for that time period only. So within that 2020, 2021, that's what I was looking at. He's been a big scorer in the first round, and that's why I'm riding with him. I think he can bring that along as well. He's coming off a cut of the British Open too, so he was only there for a little bit of time. So he didn't have the whole lag of being there the whole time, so he ended up traveling earlier, which I really like as well. Get more time back at the States as well. And my man Mitchell's checking in. I wish McNealy had the competitive mindset of his girlfriend. Yeah, indeed. I think she's also a golfer as well. So I'm not big on the LPGA myself, but that's what I've heard there. But also some other big bets I like as well. We're going to work our way from the top to the bottom over here. Top 40. I'm real big on Jason Dufner this week at plus 175, almost 2-1 money. Duffner's strokes gained approach and tee to green numbers have been real solid for him throughout. In the shorter period of time of 24 rounds, his driver's actually been pretty solid as well with the strokes gained categories for this course. He ranks 15th in strokes gained tee to green. He's 17th in ball striking, 8th in proximity between 100 and 125 yards in his last 12 rounds played. I'm going off recent form with Dufner here. He's finished 26th and 18th as well in his last 2 events, so I really like him here to finish in the top 40. I think it's a slam dunk. This might be my favorite play on the board if you're looking to get almost 2-1 on your money. I really like Jason Dufner here, top 40. Top 30, I'm also going back to the well with Jason Dufner, but it's going to be a plus 275. And the Darling, I feel like I'm hearing all over gambling Twitter. I'm playing him a little more conservative because I'm not too sure if he can make the big run this go around. I know the field's a little bit less, but I like Jonathan Vegas. He checks a lot of the boxes off for me this week. And he's been top 30 in the PGA in the last 24 rounds in strokes gained total in the last 12 rounds in tee to green, ball striking, off the tee, approaches, birdies gained, and proximity from 150 to 175 yards. He came off of the last event he was at the John Deere, getting 11th. And he also got second at the Palmetto, which was kind of like not a big tournament, and then 9th at the Byron Nelson. He's been playing better at these kind of lesser field courses, if you will. So I think a top 30 is a safe play, but I think it's a very profitable play at plus 150. So I like that as well. Remember, guys, if you have any questions about any bets, matchups, anything, any sorts, hit me up on the comments. More than happy to answer them. That's what this live forum's for. So while I give my picks, I love answering questions for you guys. So as I'm working my way down the board over here, top 20, I got 3 guys. Stewart Cink, plus 225. He's been great as far as, he had a great start at the British Open, had a great first round, and then he had a monumental breakdown. I believe he was plus 7 in the second round. It was kind of an outlier for the most part. I feel like Cink did real well at that major, but he had kind of a funky second round. Why? I'm not too sure. I didn't catch a whole lot of his round, unfortunately, but he did fall apart. But I'm okay with that because you know what? Like I said before, he was able to come home to the States even earlier, work on his game, get to Minnesota, get into a right place where it's going to be a bomber's course. I really like that as well. As far as rankings go, he ranks inside the top 30 in his last 24 rounds in driving distance, GIRs, tee to green, which is within the 12 rounds, which I'm emphasizing more and more because I feel like the tee to green, which is pretty much all the stats besides putting, that recent form I think is going to be important because you're going to be able to score a lot of birdies, and you're going to need to score a lot of birdies here, and I think that's really important. And he also ranks inside the top 30 in tee to green in his last 12 rounds, and in the last 24 rounds, he ranks inside the top 20 in proximity, 150, 175 yards. So I really like him here. I like him for top 20. I like him for top 10, and I like him to win. The win play show. I'm riding with him pretty hard here. And Mitch checking in here. Ride Bubba this week seems like his type of venue. Absolutely. I want to get into Bubba more when we get into DFS. I think it's going to be a fantastic DFS play. This is a Bubba track. He can launch it any way he wants to here without getting in much trouble. He's been real solid here. Let me see what he has done of late as far as his whole numbers, because I really do like Bubba this week, especially for the DFS. So let's see what he has done so far recently. Clear that up. All right. So his off the tee numbers have been outrageous. I'm looking at what he's done here. He's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's just been, it's too much to count at this point. I'm not going to lie. His off the tee strokes gain numbers have been fantastic. His approach numbers have been real solid. His last two tournaments at the Rocket Mortgage and Travelers. Ball striking's been great. Tee to green was amazing as well. He was over 5 strokes tee to green over at the Travelers, and then he was over 9 strokes tee to green at the Rocket Mortgage. This is a great spot for Bubba. I absolutely love him for DFS. I think he's almost a smash for DFS. I don't think a lot of people are going to play him per se, but let's see what his percentages are as far as his projected DFS numbers are, because I'm curious to see where he stands with that. So right now, he's actually looking like 21%, which is a little high for him. But you know what? I think he is still a guy that you want to play, even though it looks like he's going to be pretty highly owned. But I'm okay with that because I think he's going to have a really good outing. So I would still ride the Bubba train for sure. My next guy that I really like for top 20 is Maverick McNealy. He ranks 4th in strokes gain total in the model with those courses I was telling you about before. He ranks 5th in putting, 10th in strokes gain off the tee since 2022. Drives the ball over 300-yard average. He ranks inside the top 30 in tee to green his last 12 rounds. Last 24 rounds, he ranks inside the top 20. Driving distance, GIR, birdie or better, off the tee, proximity, 150, 175 yards. He also didn't play the British Open, which I really like as well. And he's been top 18 and 20 and 21st in his last 2 events as well. I think he's trending in that right direction. I really like him to make some noise here. So I like him to win at plus 225. I like him at top 10, and I also like him to win as well. And finally, I have one more top 20 as well. Luke List, plus 225. A lot of guys don't know about Luke List, but in his last 12 rounds, he's been the top 30 tee to green, top 30 in his last 24 rounds in driving distance, GIR, approaches. He's been amazing his last 2 events, finishing 5th and 4th his last 2 events. He also didn't play the British Open, which I'm a huge fan of. I think that jet lag is a real thing, especially if you played that whole entire week. He's been locked in. Even with losing over 2 strokes at putting at the Barbasol, which he just played, he still finished 5th, which is outrageous. Losing that many strokes with the putter and still being within the top 5. Guy is locked in. If he could just be an even keel kind of putter, I think we coast with Luke List plus 225. And he's crushing the rest of the strokes gain categories besides that. So I'll be riding with him. Luke List plus 225. So to recap that, Stewart Cink plus 225. Maverick McNealy plus 225. Luke List plus 225. Also, and I didn't even just realize that they're all the same odds across the board. Beautiful thing, top 20. So as far as top 10 goes, I told you before, Stewart Cink, 5-1. I really like him for top 10. I think he's going to have a fantastic tournament. potentially to win as well. And then Maverick McNeely, who I'm really big on as well, plus 450. And let's see what else we got over here. Recap that leader after one. No problem. You know what, guys, check in late. It's all good. No worries. More than happy to. We'll get right down to, I'll give you the recap of the leader after first round. Tom Lewis, 90-1. He's one of the guys I really like. Maverick McNeely. It's a Maverick McNeely week. 66-1, and Chris Kirk, 66-1. These guys have just been pretty much. I just want to recap these guys. First round machines, proven first round machines within the entire year. So you're not only getting a good track record of these first round plays, but they're also doing well within my time period. I was looking at the beginning of 2020 to now, so like a year and a half worth of data, and then the comp courses of River Highlands, Detroit Golf Club, and of course TPC Twin Cities, but we only have 2 years with that, so there's not a lot with that. But within that little metrics right there, I feel like that's a good starting point for round one, and you're getting great odds. Tom Lewis has been on top of the boards a lot. He's been close. I can't remember him actually winning one, but being real close. This could be that week. 90-1, no problem. I'm really liking these guys that didn't play over at the British Open for an entire week. So we'll see about that there. But those are the ones I like there, Mitch. So Tom Lewis, 90-1, Maverick McNeely, 66-1, and Chris Kirk, 66-1. And if you can get these guys at like a top 20 on some books offer that. I absolutely love them. So I would play those as well. And finally, as far as the individual picks, I like Stewart Cink to win. I found him at 65-1 at my highest number. Really like him here. He's just been playing so well this year. I know he's been on a little bit of a slump but that's okay. I think he's been kind of forgotten because he didn't make the cut. So I think you're getting great value with Stewart Cink, 65-1. And then Maverick McNeely, he's been playing great as well, 55-1 as well. So if you want to throw in a long shot, I would almost even consider Luke List. This might be a Luke List kind of tournament here. He's also at 66-1. So if you're looking for, he's just slightly above Stewart Cink. But my main two I really like are Stewart Cink and Maverick McNeely. That's why I played him top 20, top 10, and to win, because I like them to win. If they're going to be in contention, we should be able to at least cash in like over 7-1 with Cink and almost 7-1 with Maverick, and now almost cover 14 bets right there. So we'll be cruising with just those two being in contention, which I think will happen. So the matchups came out a little bit later, but that's okay. There's a couple matchups I really do like. I like Maverick McNeely minus 114 over Ricky Fowler. Ricky's been okay. He's been kind of trending all right for the most part. Let's look at what Ricky's been doing here in a more deep look here. So we had that little run at the Memorial, the PGA. So that was like a long time ago. Now he's coming off a Travelers Cut, a 32nd off the Rocket Mortgage, and then the Open just making the cut and doing absolutely nothing. So I just don't think he's really there. I think Maverick McNeely is going to be that guy, honestly. So I don't know if Ricky's going to make the cut. He might, but I think Maverick McNeely is going to contend, and I'll be more than happy to lay 114 against him there. And let's see what else here. I am also liking. Let's see. Chris Kirk minus 110 over Brandon Todd. I like that there. I'm going to put that on my board as well. Chris Kirk, I think, is going to be a great DFS play, but I think he should be able to beat Brandon Todd as well. I don't know if Todd can hang with this kind of course here. Let's see what Todd has been doing as far as the season goes, because I really want to see what his driving distance goes for the most part. Let me get my notes up here. Brandon Todd. Let's look into Brandon Todd here. Yeah, his driving distance is extremely low. It's 274 driving distance. His best part is his putting game, but you're going to have to go pretty far at this distance for the most part. His strong suits around the green and putting. Around the green, it's not going to really mean much here. Two very important stats, strokes gain approach and off the tee, both in the negatives. It's an absolute disaster. I think And then I'm going to look at Chris Kirk over here real quick, what he's been doing. Oh, let's go. Actually, that was in the last 50 rounds. Let's go last 24 weeks. I think that's a better setting for that. Chris Kirk, he does drive the ball better. He's much better off the approach game. They're around the green game, which is actually a decent part of Brendan Todd's game, is pretty close. So I think that cancels a lot out with him as well. Pretty neutral driver off the tee for the most part. So, and then when I look at Brendan Todd, it's just the putter. That's really comes down to. Nothing else has been really that great. Chris Kirk's approach game, which is going to be huge here. Approach is usually big at every course, but I think it's going to be especially big here, especially if you want to get these birdies as well. And he's also hasn't got that many birdies. He's in the negatives over here, Brendan Todd, as far as birdie average goes. And Chris Kirk, I mean, Chris Kirk has to be a lot better than him. I can't even imagine. If he's worse than him, I think that's a humongous red flag. But let's see where he's at right here. So we're about losing 3 with the birdie average over there. And Chris Kirk is almost 4 above that. It's an absolute smash. Chris Kirk, that's on the board as well. I'm putting that as well. Chris Kirk minus 110 versus Brendan Todd. It's weird that Brendan Todd is minus 120. I'm not sure why. I don't really see a reason why he would be right there. Once in a while, the lines get wrong, and I think that's a situation right there. So I like Chris Kirk minus 110 over Brendan Todd. I feel like that's a really good play. And of course, Maverick McNeely minus 114 over Ricky Fowler. And I think Ryan Moore has a good showing as well. If you're looking for a third matchup, I am leaning him against Gary Woodland. Not my favorite play in the world, but if you're looking for a third play, if you want to make a parlay, so let's say we got Ryan Moore, Maverick McNeely, and we got Chris Kirk. If you parlayed all 3 of them, you would get a little over 5.5 to 1. So if you're looking to parlay that would be a nice little parlay there. But my main 2 I really like is Maverick McNeely over Ricky Fowler minus 114, and Chris Kirk minus 110 over Brendan Todd. So those are the guys I'm looking at as well. So before I get into DFS, I talked about on Twitter at Chris Ebom. I want to find out if I got the Masters tickets. I haven't looked at my email. I know I have an email. So let me see the mail I got here. I have never been to the Masters yet, so this is going to be new and exciting here. Let's see what is going on over here. And remember, guys, tell your friends, tell everyone that Off the Tee is running right now every Wednesday night, 9:30. If you're looking for, some bets, this is the spot to be. So let's see what happened here. Let's see. All right, moment of truth here. I'm not sure. I know a lot of guys that didn't get tickets that got their email early. I got mine late, so we'll see what happens. Let's see. Oh, what is going on here? It's taking longer than I want. I was not selected, unfortunately. So no Masters for me, whether I got my email late or not. We have completed the ticket process, and we regret to inform you that your application was not selected. So for the millionth year in a row, no Masters tickets. It is what it is. I can always dream for another year. So anyway, let's get into the brighter things here. That was kind of a long shot, but that's all right. No problem. Let's get into – I almost thought I was going to get it because I got that late email. I was like, I'm feeling kind of froggy over here. I thought maybe I had a good shot at getting those Master tickets, but – you know what? I joined the rest of you guys that didn't make it, unfortunately. There's always next year, I guess. So maybe one day I'll make it over to Augusta. So as far as DFS, guys, let's look at this real quick. We are looking in the 11-10K range, which is Dustin Johnson, Louis Oosthuizen, Tony Finau, and Patrick Reed. Okay, so the real question is Dustin Johnson going to really care about this tournament? He just played all the way over, the British Open, got close, didn't really contend as much as I thought he would. But now he's playing this tournament. Is he going to really care that much? He got cut from the last year. I'm kind of weary of him. The only guy I feel like that really needs to make a statement and really needs to try and get that win finally is Tony Finau. Let's look at what his actual percentage is. Let's see. Let's see what we're working with here. Projection-wise. All right, cool. So let's see. Tony Finau. Tony. DraftKings numbers. Oh, wow. They're looking at him being 25%. That's pretty wild. So 25%, that's a lot. Let's see what we got lower percentages. Wow, a lot of they're kind of thinking that Louis might not be that owned that well. Maybe he puts up good numbers then. Just for the value of the projection, I would probably say Louis at 15% because he's probably the lowest out of there. Patrick Reed's there, but I'm not a big fan of Patrick Reed this week. I don't think his driving distance is going to help that much here. And his around the green game is a big part of his game, which I don't think is going to be that important. So if you're looking ownership-wise, I'd go Louis. But you know what? I have a feeling about Tony Finau playing pretty well, but 25% is a little too steep for me. So let's look at the 9K range. Sergio Garcia, Matt Wolff, Cameron Tringale, Emiliano Grillo, Cam Davis, Bubba Watson, Robert McIntyre. Mitch brought up earlier, Bubba Watson. I think he's going to be a really good play here. I know he's kind of highly owned, but I'm willing to take more of that risk with Bubba Watson than Tony Finau here. I think he's just been in really good form, and I think this is a Bubba course. So I'm fine with that as well. These percentages are pretty high. I'm kind of shocked that Sergio is the lowest out of this group projected at 10%. I would definitely jump on Sergio here in that case because he checks a lot of boxes as far as what this course could be. I mean, every metric that I looked at, he was almost checked off on it. It was pretty crazy. The only one that he really wasn't checked off on was the Strokes game putting inside the top 30. In bent grass greens, and that could always change. He could putt well. That's not too much of a burden for me. So I love Sergio here. I think he'd be a really good spot as well. We go down the 8K range. We have the great Ricky Fowler, Keegan Bradley, Stuart Sink, Patton Kizzire, Herbert, Maverick McNeely, Schwartzel, Dylan Fratelli, and Luke List. So I'm looking at a couple guys. Luke List looks like he's going to be highly owned, which I'm kind of shocked about. I think he's going to play well. That number, I'm not crazy about, not going to lie. If I'm looking for somebody, I like Stuart Sink here. They say he's only going to be owned 5.5%, and he checks tons of boxes for me. I think he could win this tournament. I think Stuart Sink is the guy there. He's at 9,100 over there. Sorry, I'm looking over at the full pricing. He is actually over 8,700 there. Keegan Bradley's going to be really highly owned. I'll pass on that as well. Kizzire has the name. He's being bought up as well. Maverick McNeely. If you got anything from this show, Stuart Sink and Maverick McNeely are my two favorite guys this week. I don't care what their percentages are. I think they're going to really contend. I really like them here. So in the 8,000s, I like that as well. The 7,000 ranges, you got Chris Kirk, Gim, Hammer and Hank there, Sneds, Ryan Moore. I mean, you got some lower percentage guys over here. Honestly, I think Snedeker might actually play pretty well here. He's been in real good form. He's played well in these really easier courses, if you will. So I think he's definitely worth a flyer, and his percentage is at 6%, which is really low, which I like a lot. Doug Gim's like the darling at 12%, and Hammer and Hank's a big person people keep playing. I'm kind of weird about Hank, not gonna lie. Lebbieta, he has been on fire. I don't know when the regression's gonna happen. Everybody and their mother's on him this week, and I think the best number you could get for Hank, as far as just any kind of betting standpoint, I don't think he's quite a good DFS play this week. I think he's a great outright bet at 50-1. I think for a guy that's playing that well, you're going to get him at 50-1. I think Hammer and Hank is the way to go. So I really like him at that 50-1 range. I saw you might be able to get him at better numbers, but DFS, I have him in a couple lineups. I'm not completely fading him, but I'm not going to put a lot of stock into him. Way too much ownership, way too much love. There could be a lot of heartbreak with him this week, and the stats don't show that, but golf's a crazy game, and you know what? If he does great, then so be it, but I'll take him in the betting market before I take him in DFS. So, and then as far as other guys go, I like Chris Kirk as well. He's at that 8% range about. Ryan Moore, he's at like 7.5. I like as well. So those are a couple guys I'm looking at there in the 7K range. Vegas is going to be highly owned at 21%, but I think you should definitely put him in some lineups. He's been playing really well. He drives the ball real far. His approach games has been decent as well. Let's see. Patrick Rodgers is pretty highly owned, so he's kind of a darling this week as well. So I might have to stay away from him. Pretty funny. I'm looking Detroit Dave. I made a lineup with him this week. He gave me his first guy. Gave me Steve Stricker. Pretty wild, but you know what? He did play well over at the Waste Management. If I could recall, he had a really good outing. That is a comp course here. I think he might be a pretty good play here. This might be a good spot for him. Very, doesn't make too many mistakes, but I think he could take advantage of the approach numbers. I know his around the green game's been fantastic, but I think he's definitely worth a flyer. I mean, if you're looking at what he's done on the tour so far, the PGA Championship he finished 44th. The John Deere Classic 41st, which I don't like at all because I think he could have probably done a little bit better there. But you know what? I think Steve Stricker is that guy right there in the 7,000s. I really like. I think you're getting good leverage with him as well. Ches Reavie, I also really like in DFS. I have him in a bunch of my lineups. They're having him projected to be 4.5%. As far as stats for Ches Reavie, he's one of the guys I had on my list as well. Strokes gained, ball striking in the top 20, really good with, and he's been a monster in the two like big stats when it comes to proximity of hole locations of 100 125 yards for these approach shots, 150 to 175. He checks the boxes for all those top 20s inside there. So he's had an 18th, a 25th, and a 14th. He was at the British Open. He made the cut, so he did stay there for the long haul, which I'm not too crazy about. So we'll see about that. My man Mitch checking in. Thoughts on Satoshi? So he's an interesting guy. So I know he's at the bottom of the board. He's been pretty hot for the most part. Let me see where I can bring him up at here. Where is my man Satoshi? There he is. All right. As far as the DFS standpoint, he's actually not that owned that much. He's only at 6.5%. I think you should definitely play him as like a lower level guy at 6,500. If he's only going to be if he's going to be owned less than 8%, he might be an auto click kind of guy for the most part. For what he's done for the most part, the Barbasol, he got 20th, so he has been staying over the States. Always a huge fan of that. Let me look at his stats as well, what he's done. Dyer. All right. So, okay. So the putter's been kind of weak, but that's okay. He's had good runs and bad runs of putter, so he can get hot again with the putter, which I do like. That's a good regression I like to see with the putter because he's had good runs and he's had some bad runs. He's going through his bad run now, so I think we can get into that hot run over there. As far as his approach numbers, they've been back and forth a little bit, more positive than negative. He's been pretty solid off the tee. He's had 11th, 13th, 19th, 20th. As I keep looking at him more and seeing his projected ownership, if he's under 8%, he might be an automatic guy for me to play, honestly. He's a good guy you brought up, Mitch. I think he's definitely a guy that you would have to consider, especially with the ownership, the leverage, if you will. I thought he would have been owned a little bit more projection-wise because of the low salary, and he could have been one of those automatic fillers for the most part in that 6K range. Let me see what the 6K range as far as projections go, because there's going to be some chalky guys in that spot. So let's see. Jump on, man.
Projected ownership. Let's see. Tony Finau. Let's see. Let's do our first 6,000 guy over here because I'm kind of intrigued to see what we got. Let's see. I'm going to bring it over my other screen because I can't see it as well here. Let's see. 6,000. You know, a lot of guys are avoiding that 6K range. You can get real ugly around that 7 to 8K range. So be wary of taking those chalkier guys because they could definitely burn you for sure. So let's see here. 7,000 we're looking at. You know what? It's pretty much fair game with the 6K range. Everyone seems like they're playing the 8, 7K range guys and hoping for the best, hoping they bite, but I don't know if that's necessarily true. You might just have to get some good guys up there that they're going to do well, and then throw some of these guys in the higher 6K, lower 7Ks, because I think if you can get some good 6K guys to make the cut, I think you're going to cash. So I think that's important. I think Satoshi is a good play. I think he should be pretty much a smash for that for the most part. Other guys I want to get into for the 7K range. 7K range. Let's see what we got. We got Hubbard, Kyle Stanley, everyone's favorite cheapskate, Matt Kuchar. I'll tell you what, Hubbard plays pretty well at these kind of courses, these courses that aren't that difficult. I think he's definitely worth a flyer as far as DFS goes. So let's see what Mark Hubbard has. What's his percentage? It can't be that high. I can't imagine it being that high. Let's see. Mark Hubbard. Wow, he's barely even 1%. That's pretty dangerous. I'm going to have to probably start playing him in a couple lineups. I think he's going to be worth a shot as far as play on DFS. I mean, he could get low in this tournament. I mean, he did get a 20th at the Barbasol, so that's a good sign. I think I'm going to throw him in a few more lineups. I think he's a guy in that lower 7K range, and a lot of guys aren't taken. I think I'm going to put him in a few more lineups. I think that's going to be a really good guy to throw in. All right. And as far as going to wrap up pretty soon over here, the 6K range, I'm always a fan of Tom Hoge. Great approach shot, hitter. Always love him there. I think Keith Mitchell has been in bad form, but he can drive the ball far. So if you're looking for a very contrarian play, I think Keith Mitchell would be a good spot as well. Let's see, Vincent Whaley, he had a good stretch there as well, so I think he would be worth a shot. Nate Lashley has great approach shots. My guy in the 6K that I really like is Jason Dufner. He's a guy I really like. So what he's done of late. So let's check out what he's done, because I like Jason Dufner this week for I told about it before. I liked him for top 40. I liked him for top 30. So Jason Dufner, his last two events, 26th at the Barbasol, 18th at the John Deere Classic. I like him here. I think he's going to play really well, and he's not going to be owned that much. So I really like that as well. So he's my favorite 6K range guy. So that'll about do it, guys. Thank you again for listening to Off the Tee. Oh, and by the way, football season is approaching. I know some people have just been watching my golf, but I have my show Tackle the Board that I do with my co-host Russ Reese. You can find him at Vegas Line Reader. We got a huge season ahead of us. We're going to be on the Heat Ratio Network. Our show's going to be live. We're not just covering NFL. I'm going to also throw out my college football plays as well. And you guys, once again, can ask questions about bets, player props, anything you want. We can break it down, give you our opinion on these. It's going to be a really great football season. I'm super stoked about it. Had a great college football season, 62% with the bowl games. NFL was great with us as well. Russ and I did very well in the NFL. So while you guys support the Golf Channel, and I've been doing good things for you guys, football season is going to be a monster season. I cannot wait. Just watch out. Tackle the Board with me, Chris Ebom, and Russ Reese at Vegas Line Reader. It's going to be awesome.
football season. I cannot wait. Saturdays, Sundays, I cannot wait for it. Midweek football action. I'm all about those ESPN 5, 8 games with the camcorders. I've been crushing those games. I'm all about it. Maction, you name it. Lower majors, all of it. I love it. So cannot wait. Football season's coming. But these were also my plays. Thank you again for the support of Off the Tee on the Heat Ratio Network. And remember to tune into Heat Ratio Network's other shows. We got great shows for hockey, Flyers and Ice, Betting for Breakfast with my boy Mark Drumheller. Tony Coteau is always doing his thing, DFS, and everything else that's going on in the world. And we also got the basketball shows as well. Andre's been fantastic. Everyone, I know I'm leaving people out, but everyone's been fantastic on the Heat Ratio Network, and we're going to do bigger and better things. I promise you that. So be on the lookout. Thanks again, guys. Let's go make that money, and let's enjoy the golf season. And we know that football's coming also, so be prepared. Let's go make that money.